Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another live stream. My name is Lara Ryan and this is Complete Test Success. So in today's live stream, we are going to do an essay correction, well, technically a letter correction for General Training IELTS Writing Task 1. I posted a question Friday or Saturday last week and asked you guys to write a letter in response to that question. So there were only 2 people who submitted essays or submitted answers. So we'll just choose one person at random and I'm going to do a complete essay correction. This is pretty much what I do with the students who join my courses. But on the course, obviously, I'm teaching them what to do first, and then I get them to send me their writing and I'll correct it. So this is the correction side of things. We're going to look at all the vocab and grammar mistakes. We're going to decide on the scores for task achievement, coherence and cohesion, vocab and grammar. And we're going to have some advice for whichever student wins, some advice about how to improve their scores. LFC Bapi from Bangladesh, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you here. Okay, so first step is to choose the winner. And I'll just spin this wheel. Okay, so the winner is Madeline, who's actually a member of my course already. So I work quite closely with Madeline. So well done, Madeline. We'll get a look at your letter here now. I just need a moment to copy it over to the document. Then I'll share that and we'll go through it. Madeline's English is very good. So what that means is it's not going to take a very long time to correct this. So typically students with more problems it would take me more time to, correct all the vocab, correct the grammar, explain all of those things. But Madeline is a very high level English student. So you'll see what I mean when we take a look. Okay, so as I'm correcting Madeline's letter, you guys might have some questions for me about the feedback I'm giving her or about other aspects of the correction. So please feel free to just ask whatever questions you have in the comments. I'll pop in and out of correcting the essay and look at the comments, and I'll be able to answer your questions and give you whatever information you are looking for. So let me just share my screen here and take a look at this letter. Okay. So this was the question. You have noticed an issue with the public transportation in your area. Write a letter to your local council. In your letter, tell him or her what the issue is. Say how it's affecting the residents and suggest a possible solution. So all of the instructions down along here are the same every time. The instructions at the top are the same every time. So we kind of know what to do there already. The question tells us to say, dear sir or madam, and Madeline has said, dear councillor. Now look, if the question is telling us what to say, there's no need to change that. Okay, so we're just going to do what the question tells us to do, and we'll just say, dear sir or madam. That if they're instructing us to say that, we know that we're doing the right thing. So let's just do what they've told us to do. Now, in response to each prompt, you should write about 60 words. So here it says, tell him or her what the issue is. You would write about 60 words about that. So it looks like Madeline has written a lot more than that. 67 words. So I was wrong. It's not. Again, we would expect about 60 words here. Let's see what that looks like. About 57. Yeah, so that looks good. And the last one might be a little bit short. 37. And that would restrict the task achievement score because you have to fully develop each of the prompts. So if you've kind of discussed it and developed it a little bit, that's not enough for a higher task achievement score. So the development looks like it's a little bit short for the last prompt, the one to suggest a possible solution. Okay, so I'm just going to tidy up this question here. I'm going to delete all of the instructions because we don't really need to look at that any longer. Okay, right. The first prompt, tell him or her what the issue is. Okay. I'm writing this letter informing you, so it would be to inform you. I'm writing this letter to inform you about bus delays. So there's 2 spaces between the word about and bus. Very often these types of mistakes happen where, you know, the student they've written something and they're coming back and they're trying to edit it and change it, and you end up with 2 spaces where there should be only 1. This is actually considered a grammar mistake because there should be only 1 space between each word. And as part of your grammar, the punctuation of your writing, like capital letters, spaces, commas, full stops, all of that is included in your grammar score. So even though it's just something small, if it's happening too regularly, it can have a negative impact on the score. Okay, I'm writing this letter to inform you about bus delays that we have been experiencing in Chiba area. So when we're talking about the area, if we just said in Chiba, that's fine. But if you want to use the word area, it has to be in the Chiba area since the beginning of the year. Okay, good. Now, what we see then is Madeline has split up her response to the first prompt into 2 paragraphs. And now it looks like there's way too much here, 93 words. Now, it's not necessarily the case that if you write 93 words, your essay is, it's not necessarily the case if you write 93 words that your essay is going to get a low score or your letter is going to get a low score. But the problem is you need to do it in 20 minutes. And if you're writing, you know, far more than you need to, you're not going to have much time. Especially, we want to have time after we've finished writing the letter to go back and check it for mistakes. So that is something that I would say might be an issue if the timing is, if it's taking too long to write the letter. Okay. There has been approximately 30 minutes delay almost on a daily basis, especially during rush hours in the morning and in the evening. So to be honest, all of this should be in 1 paragraph and then just develop it to the point where it's about 60 words long and there's no need for the rest of it. Okay, there has been approximately 30 minutes delay, a 30-minute delay, a 30, and then that has to be hyphenated. So a 30-minute delay almost on a daily basis, especially during rush hours in the morning and the evening. This has been caused by traffic congestion that is happening at one of our busiest intersections. We wouldn't really say traffic congestion that is happening. We would just say traffic congestion and then at one of our busiest intersections. So there's no need for that is happening. I mean, grammatically it's correct, but it's just not how we would normally express that. I have noticed that only heavy vehicles like buses are failing to maneuver quickly, like some cars, due to traffic jams, hence the delay in pickup times. And again, that needs to be hyphenated. Pickup times. And again, we have another problem here where there are 2 spaces between these words. So we're going to have to delete one of those spaces. So in relation to the first prompt, tell him or her what the issue is. Certainly it's been done and it's been done very well. And my only concern would be if you're going to write this much, then the amount of time it takes is going to be problematic. But besides that, very good response. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So the next prompt is say how it's affecting the residents. So a majority of people, so it's always the majority. So the majority of people are being late, are maybe arriving late. for work regularly as they try to avoid this. So it's unclear what this is. They try to avoid this. They try to avoid. So what is this referring to? So that's an unclear reference. As they try to avoid the traffic jams. Well, if they're, what are they avoiding? So that's an unclear reference. And that's a problem for your coherence and cohesion. So you're saying this, it means you're talking about something that you've mentioned earlier, but it's unclear what this is referring to. So they're trying to avoid being late. They're trying to avoid using the bus. They're trying to avoid the traffic congestion. So that's unclear. Some are opting to take an earlier bus, which comes before sunrise, and take a late bus in the evening, which left residents at risk of being mugged, which leaves residents at risk of being mugged because it will be very dark. Well, because it is very dark. Not that it will be, but every day it is very dark, and criminals are taking advantage of the situation. Okay. Okay, again, that's a good response, and this is a better length. So like we said earlier on, this is about 60 words, and that's as much as you need for each, in response to each prompt. So very clearly, this paragraph is discussing the effect and developing that enough that the paragraph is long enough without going too long that we're losing time. But still, the word this, it's unclear what that is referring to, and that would need to be fixed. Okay. So that brings us very quickly to the last prompt. As I said, Madeline's English is really good, so I was kind of expecting this to be a quick correction. Suggest a possible solution. Okay, so now we're down here. To help the situation, I suggest the construction of dual lanes on roads leading in and out of the intersection to increase the number of traffic. So traffic is an uncountable noun, so it'd have to be increase the amount of traffic moving at the same time to avoid congestion during peak hours. Okay, a perfect response in that you are suggesting a solution and you're doing that clearly. But like I've mentioned several times, at 37 words, that's just not enough for a high task achievement score, or the highest, as high as you would like. Yours sincerely is a formal signature signing off, and Madeline Naharunda, and we do not need a full stop after your name. But as you can see, Madeline has put in her first name and her surname. So what that means is it is written in a formal style. So that matches. Okay, so task achievement is a band 7. This final paragraph in response to the third prompt is too short. So that's the main issue. So to combat that, we would just write a lot less about the first prompt, and that would be enough time to respond more fully to the third prompt. Coherence and cohesion. So the paragraphing there is no reason to have these two paragraphs. That's all a response to one prompt about what the problem is. That should all be together. So that's a problem with the paragraphing. Excuse me. And then the problem with the word this. So that's an unclear reference. So what we're looking at is also a band 7 for the task achievement, for the coherence and cohesion score. Okay. Sir, today I've taken IELTS speaking test in part 3. Examiner asked around 6 to 7 questions. Yep, that's quite normal. Sorry, I didn't realize I had the document on a small screen. Okay, so then we're looking at task achievement 7 and coherence and cohesion 7. Vocabulary is very good. The range is great. So what we're looking at then is how many mistakes do we have? So that would be a mistake with vocab here. Congestion that is happening. Again, it's completely clear, but not just not quite accurate. Again, the hyphenated words again. So that's another issue with the same type of mistake. Being late and arriving late. Yeah. So that's another collocation mistake. Earliest versus earlier. So you could say they're opting to take the earliest bus or an earlier bus. So it's the earliest bus because there's only one earliest bus, or an earlier bus, which would be one of several possible earlier buses. Okay. Oh, it's very, very strong. This would get a 7, but it's a very high 7. You know, it's a 7, but nearly a band 8. So really, really strong in that. And then the final score is grammar. So we have a problem here, a gerund instead of an infinitive. As we said, the spacing issue, an article issue. Another issue here where it was a plural and it should have been a singular. So these are all error-free sentences. Well, technically no, because we have another spacing issue here and a plural mistake here. So this is an error-free sentence. Now, I know you're looking at the middle of that saying that is happening. I deleted that. That was more of a vocab issue. So that doesn't count as an error-free sentence when we're considering the grammar score. Okay, another article mistake. And 2 mistakes with tenses. And then a mistake with uncountable nouns. So what we have really is only one error-free sentence. So that's not enough for a band 7. That's going to be a band 6 for grammar. So the main mistakes we saw would definitely, I'm going to call out the punctuation mistakes with the double spaces because it's an easy one to get right. So that would be one thing. And as I said earlier on, this very often happens when students are editing what they've written at a later time. So that will be one area. So we had the article mistakes, 2 tense mistakes. So articles, tenses, and punctuation. Those would be the main things. Now, the thing is, like, we don't have sentences that are like riddled with grammar mistakes. They're just like one little grammar mistake here, one little grammar mistake there, but they do all count towards the grammar score. So Madeline doesn't need to improve her grammar an incredible amount, just a little bit, but definitely articles, punctuation, and tenses would be the 3 areas that I would recommend that she focuses on. Okay, so that then is the full correction. What we're after getting here is a band 7 for task achievement, 7 for coherence and cohesion, 7 for vocab, and 6 for grammar. So that will count as an overall 6.5 for this essay. Definitely focusing on those areas of grammar would be the fastest way to improve this score up to a band 7. Also, there was just that one main mistake with the coherence and cohesion with the word this, and putting those 2 paragraphs, putting that one response about what the issue is in 2 paragraphs. So we would see a band 8 for coherence and cohesion by just putting it all in 1 paragraph and making it clear what the word this is referring to. Task achievement, that 3rd paragraph just needed to be a little bit longer. So to be honest, those 3 scores, task achievement, coherence and cohesion, and grammar, they're all going to be quite easy to improve. They're not going to take weeks and weeks to improve. There isn't that much work to do in those areas, and the vocab is nearly at a band 8 already. So it's a 6.5, but very, very close to a much higher score. Hi, sir. Could you check my task 1 essay? How can I send it to you? Right. So you can send me an email here, lar@completetestsuccess.com. Or one moment now, and I'll show you the link where I have those services. Yeah, so if you want corrections or if you're interested in joining my course, I'll just show you the link here. So either way, click on the link and you can see what's available, or send me an email. For people joining my course, I do kind of screen the applicants because I'll only work with students who have realistic goals. When someone comes in saying, you know, my previous writing score was a band 5, I'm doing my test next week and I want a band 7, you know, I can't work magic. You know, I can show you what you're doing wrong. I can explain how to fix your scores, but it takes time, you know. So I just need to make sure you have realistic goals before I would take you onto the course. And that, I believe, is all we have for today. Well done, Madeline. You're after writing a very impressive letter and just a few small tweaks to improve that score. And for everyone else, best of luck if you have an IELTS test coming up soon. And I'll be back with another live stream next week. So take care of yourselves till then. Bye.